Okay, Charlie went ahead and taped the car off. As you can see, it's completely taped off. He's got paper going all the way around it because we don't want any overspray getting up on the bottom there, blue. He's got the fender wells taped off, very good. And he's got the engine compartment taped off, so that's a pretty good tape job. Gotta go ahead and fold that down right there. And what we've done is we had Mr. Professional working here, and he went ahead and did roughed all the bodywork in, and that's basically what he did, roughed the bodywork in. Now when I say rough it in, he didn't put it to a finish point where primer stage. Okay, he put it to a rough in stage, which is 36 grit. Okay, he didn't take his time and he didn't block it down to 180 or 80 grit, and basically wasted all that primer and materials that we put on the car before he did the body work, because we had to come back and block sand all this down, and I showed you how to do that with the big blocks, okay? So you can see where we got all the high spots out. Anywhere that you see Bondo, okay, that was a high spot, okay? If you see some metal, that means that it's starting to float out and it's gonna be level, see? So we got our high spots out. We had Bondo in this area, and now this is sanded down to 180. So I'm gonna put the final primer coat on. I'm gonna put 2 full wet coats, and then it'll be ready to wet sand, block sand that is, with 400, and then paint. If the guy that worked here, Mr. Professional, would have done it the proper way, okay, and done it in a finish out stage, we wouldn't have had to be this particular on the job. But it doesn't matter, it's already over with, it's done. We went ahead and cleaned up the edges on our seam sealer. This is very important when you restore your car, to remove all the seam sealer out of the gutter and replace that with new. That's a very, very important step. Do not forget to do that. If you do, you will have rust within a year and a half, tops. You will start getting rust bubbles. That's very important. Make sure that you have, okay, make sure that you have seam sealer put back in your gutter rails, okay? And anywhere else that there was seam sealer. That's why it's there. It's there for a reason. Make sure it's there. So as we walk out here, we're looking over here and we see that the primer that I'm going to use on this particular job is called an MP3 HS, whatever the hell HS is. I don't even know. High build, high standard, what the, I don't know. It's an ultra high build 2K primer. This is equivalent to PPG K36 primer, but is less than half the cost. It's an exact identical replica, okay, made by this company right here, of PPG K36 primer. This is the hardener that you get with it. And I had a customer ask me about putting, if you can reduce this down, because this is very, very thick. And the mixture on this, if you look right here, okay, it doesn't require any reducer in it. You can add up to 10, maybe 15% reducer to thin it down so you can spray it, especially in the wintertime when it's cold out. It really, really gets to be a pain in the ass, and it's very, very thick. So, yes, make sure that you use reducer though, urethane, see? Make sure you use urethane reducer in that. Now, it doesn't matter what brand urethane reducer you use. All urethane reducer is the same. The only difference is the temperature. This is medium temp, this is 870. I use that year round. So yes, you can add some reducer to that. Don't add a lot because then the activation of the primer will dissipate and won't be a very good filling primer. So I'm gonna go ahead and put 2 full wet coats of this on our car. I will add 10% reducer to let it flow out better, and it'll make it easier for us to sand. And it's gonna work out great. This has been a long project. It's been a big project, and it's been an exhausting project. I mean, this is going on 3.5 years now that this car has been sitting in my shop. I'm ready to get it done and get it out. Okay, I enjoy doing these type of projects, but the problem is you get tired of looking at them, and that's really what makes it a sad situation. Okay, so if we walk over here, I'm gonna show you this. Yeah, Mr. Rat Rod. Wow. If you can see the glisten of the primer on the hood there, you can see that that is professionally applied. There's no overspray on it. It's nice and even, and it has a nice satin sheen to it. Okay, that's the finished primer. That's what our car is gonna look like when we get done with it, okay? That's ready for 400 to 600 wet sanding, okay? You come over here and you can see that we got, our fenders are done, okay? And our deck lid's done. Now all this is taped off. If you look right here, you can see that. This has all been taped off on the backside because all the backsides of all this stuff is already painted with single stage urethane. And yeah, we don't want to get any overspray on that. We did go ahead and paint the backside of our parts with urethane and single stage urethane, and the reason we did that is so it would match the inside of the vehicle as far as under the hood and in the trunk, this, that, and the other, so when you lift it up. The cutoff points on that are going to be in the trunk area, okay? If there's a variance in color, you won't be able to tell because the cutoff point will be right in this area right in here. Okay, so when you shut the hood, there you go. So, if our base coat, clear coat paint is just a slight pitching of a nerve off on the color resemblance, it doesn't matter, because what'll happen is it'll just all blend together anyway and you'll never be able to tell. I think I've already said that, and I'm not fucking saying it again. Now, I gotta get the primer on the car, and then our next procedure on this vehicle, okay? Our next procedure on this vehicle is to wet sand it down and finally paint it. Color sand and buff, and then we will go ahead and start mantling the car back together, okay? And putting it back together and getting it out of here. Because me personally, I'm about sick of looking at it, so I mean, there's nothing else I can say. I've said everything I could say. It's a job. I hope everybody likes our Dodge Coronet. This is a 1968 GTS Dodge Coronet, number matching car. The guy bought it when he was, he got it when he was 16. On his 16th birthday, his dad purchased it for him. He's had it ever since. It was a birthday present from his father to him. His father has passed away, and he plans on keeping this car forever. So, there you go. And this is also Pete, and well, we got us a little partner over. See, look at here. This little friend up in there that's gonna have to leave. This is that time of the year, see? It's that time of the year. Fucking Daddy Longleg Spider. We're gonna have to get Charlie to start blowing out all the corners. This is Pete, take it easy. And I'm talking a little bit low today because I don't want everything to echo in here and sound like shit. Okay, there you go. I gotta go, gotta get the primer on there. Gotta do it, it's gotta be done. You'll see the primer when it's done. When we get ready to sand it, you'll see what it's gonna look like. But till then, that's the way it goes. Take it easy, goodbye. And as Trevor would say, goodbye everybody.